Mention two scenarios from the book about innocent people whose circumstances changed once they spoke with the police. One scenario involved a young 16-year-old girl, Nguyen Truong, whose infant son had suffocated in 2018. Police interrogated her routinely and demanded that she tell them who did it and that it was most likely herself who had done the deed. They then proceeded to treat her as someone who committed the crime, despite any confession or evidence for that matter, and promised her less jail time in the juvenile system. Once they broke her down, though, they then charged her as an adult and got her in jail for 3 years before the charges were dropped. Another scenario involving a young man named Calvin Montgomery, who was being interrogated by federal agents, was promised help in order to get a statement out of him. They offered him unspecified help despite the man asking if they could just help him out. They then used this against him in court and explained that they intended to help him by prosecuting him and sending him to jail, where he would then use a substance abuse treatment program to help himself. List all of the reasons why the author advises against speaking to the police. The reason why you shouldn't speak to the cops is that you can give the wrong information, which can then incriminate you without you ever having done the crime itself. You can be misheard, and those words can be used against you since people make mistakes all the time, especially cops. Your memory can throw you off and incriminate you even further than if you had kept quiet. You may also be fed information or overhear information and mistakenly mention it, which incriminates you as a culprit. Information you may give out to the police can turn out to be false, which will then incriminate you even further, despite the fact. Or a connection can be found that links you somehow through bizarre coincidences if you give up information that correlates to the case. The police can trick you into confessing despite the fact that you're innocent and did not commit the crime given. Your words can be mistakenly misinterpreted and make you out to be a criminal, since cops cannot always realize the difference between I didn't do it and I didn't do it. What is the most important advice Duane gives to people if they're asked to speak to the police? The most important advice that Duane gives to us is to explicitly invoke your constitutional right to remain silent, so it can't be used against you. In addition to this, you must invoke the police to stop by the above assertion so that they don't continuously try to wear you down through arguments and time. All of this would ensure that the cops do not prosecute you on account of remaining silent and avoiding questioning, which would then show you are suspicious due to not speaking at all. You must not also plead the fifth, as it will incriminate you in court by making you look suspicious. Instead, you'd want to invoke your Sixth Amendment to a lawyer, as it will showcase you as someone who is willing to answer questions while still being protected through the law. What do you personally think of the author's advice? What has this book taught you? I think that her advice is mostly accurate and it should definitely be followed by everyone who isn't well versed in the linguistics that police employ. I'm a bit biased in that I've had mostly good interactions with cops and I know a few myself. One such incident I can remember that gave me a good impression was when my brother had to speak to the police after he broke the turn mirror off of another car after backing out. The cop who came and spoke to him also spoke to me and actually ended up helping my brother to get charges dropped and to not stay in jail for it. Despite this, though, the book has taught me that this won't always be the case for everyone, and people need to be well prepared and ready for bad interactions.